So we've come together, and we'll be trying to do this every night. I hope you come every night, because we've got lots of stories about Guru Nanak, because his birthday is coming. And he was born about, 600 years ago, long ago.
His birthday is like 11 or 10 days from now.
That's right, 11 days from now. We'll have stories every night, and music every night, and something good to eat. Sure, why not? And so when Guru Nanak was born, about 600 years ago, he didn't cry. You know how new little babies, they go, wah, they want their mom. He didn't cry. And they looked, he laughed. He was born and he laughed, because he thought, this is such a funny world. I guess that's what he must have thought. And he was happy to be here. And all the people came to see the little baby, and they wanted to see him. And the astrologers, the wise men came, and they said, oh, this baby is special. This baby's going to really do so many wonderful things and be such a great teacher. But you know, his mom and dad, well, they loved him a lot, and they thought he was wonderful. And he had an older sister named Bibi Nanki, who loved him a lot. And Bibi Nanki thought, this is true. My little baby brother is really, really special. But his mom and dad thought, oh, he's such a beautiful baby, but you know, he's just a regular baby. And he got older, and they noticed he didn't really run around and play like you boys were doing tonight. You were running and having fun. He didn't really do that a whole lot, because he just liked to sit and watch the grass grow and watch the flowers grow and sit under the trees and think about God and remember when he didn't have a body and he was with God. He remembered that, and it made him happy. And he shared that with his friends. They liked to come and hear too. And his mother noticed that he didn't run around playing really hard. She was kind of worried. She thought, well, maybe, I hope he's all right. And his father said, I wonder if he has enough energy to do what he needs to do. So, but he said, Mom, will you please, Mataji, would you please make some cookies for our friends? And would you share? I want to share everything I have with them. So she did that. And he got older. And then when he was 9 years old, who's 9 years old here? Wow, 9 years old was when the first time he went to school. His dad says, now it's time for him to go to school. So he took him to the school, and we have a picture up there. The very top one, way up there, where the teacher and Guru Nanak, he wasn't called Guru then, he was just called him Nanak, and he was there. And he went for his first day at school, and he was 9 years old. And he asked the teacher, what are these symbols? And it was the alphabet in his language. So the teacher explained, this is the alphabet like you learn A, B, C. A is an apple, B is a bird, all that. Well, he learned it in his language. And he, one time through, and he knew it. He knew the alphabet. And he took his little slate, his little writing thing. See in the picture, his little writing thing. And he started sitting there, and he was writing and writing and writing. And the teacher says, what is that boy doing? What is he up to? And he went over and he said, what are you writing? And he said, him, H-I-M, him. He says, what do you mean by that? What does him mean? And he said, it's God. We must always remember him. Everything comes from God, and everything goes to God. And he kept talking. The teacher would ask him questions, and he would keep telling about God. And the teacher finally said, I can't teach you anything. You know everything. You can read, and you can do all these things, and you know everything. So he bowed at Nanak's and touched his feet and said, you are special, and I can't teach you. You already know. So he took him by the hand, and he went to where Guru Nanak's father was. His father was a pretty important man. He had, nice land, and he worked hard at his job, and he had money. And he looked up and he saw the teacher coming with Nanak, and he thought, oh my goodness, what has that boy done? He's gotten in trouble. The teacher's having to bring him to me. He must have done something naughty. But the teacher came and said, I'm sorry, but I cannot teach your son because he already knows everything. There's no reason for him to come and sit in the school. He knows everything. And his father thought, I wonder. I don't think he's really telling me the truth. He's just trying to be sort of get on my good side here. My boy can't know everything. He's only been to school one day. And he said, but he does. He knows everything. He's really, really, really something special. And the teacher left him there with his father. And his father thought, well, what am I going to do with this boy? And every day he thought, well, he's got to learn how to make a living. He has to grow up and have a job. So he noticed that Nanak liked to be around the animals, the buffaloes and the cows. And so he thought, well, maybe he can take the cows out to the pasture. So he asked him, he said, would you like to take the cows out into the pasture each day? He said, oh, I really, really would. Papaji, I would love to do that because they can't ask for what they need, but they need a lot of things. And I would love to take them out and take care of them. He said, okay, all right, in the morning you do that. So Nanak got up, all the young boys, other boys, they took their cattle out, the buffalo and the cows out, and they always had to walk behind them saying, ha, ha, and have a little stick and sort of punching at them a little bit with a little stick. But Nanak just started singing about God and walking along, and they followed him, just like they were little puppy dogs instead of big old buffaloes and cows. And they followed him out of the town to the pastures. And he watched them a little while, and they were eating the grass, and there was a little stream for drinking the water. And Nanak just felt so happy, and he went into bliss. He sort of forgot where he was, and he sort of went, like that, you know. And while he was asleep, dreaming of beautiful things, remembering God, the cows and the buffaloes went over into the neighbor's field where the corn was growing, just beginning to grow up a little bit, coming up nice and green, and they started eating all of that. And the man came. They had almost destroyed all the corn. Nanak still sleeping away. The owner of the field came and he said, what is going on here? You bad, bad boy, I'm going to go and tell your father, and he's going to have to pay all the money because my field is ruined. You've let all the cows eat all the grass, all my corn. And Nanak felt really sad about that. He didn't want the man's corn to be gone. He said, it's all okay. But the man wouldn't listen. He hurried into the town, and he went to the chief of the town, like the mayor, the chief, you know. And his name was Rai Bular. And he went to him and he said, that bad boy Nanak, he let the cows eat all my corn. My crop is gone. I won't be able to have any money and feed my children, and it's terrible, terrible. And his father has to pay me. And the Rai Bular said, all right, calm down, calm down. And he sent one of the men to go and check it out and see what the damage was so that Guru Nanak's father could pay. But when the man got there, guess what?
The corn was green.
Right. It was a beautiful field of little baby corn coming up, more thicker than it was before. And the man who was going to check it out said, you must be crazy. Look at this. This is great. This is beautiful. He said, I know what I saw. It was all gone. I don't know what's going on here. But you know what? Guru Nanak he loved everybody and everything. And everybody and everything loved him. All of the things in nature. The flowers would bloom for him. The birds would sing for him. The trees would have beautiful leaves for him when there weren't any trees, any leaves. And so when he just meditated on that corn and thought, I wish that the corn would be beautiful again, up came the corn and it was beautiful again. It wasn't magic, it was just the love in Guru Nanak's heart, and everything loved him. What? Well, no, it wasn't that big yet. It was like just the plant coming up, and so the cows thought it was just good grass to eat. You know, it wasn't very big, but it was up big again and thicker and better than ever. So when Rai Bular, the leader of the community, heard that, he said, this must be a very special boy. And he believed it, and the next day Guru Nanak had the cows out the next day, and Rai Bular was coming by on his horse, and he looked and he saw Guru Nanak asleep. He always went into his meditation sleep. And here was a huge cobra. You probably know that story. The huge cobra. Where's the picture? We have it here. Here's the picture.
But the cobra won't
The
fight him.
cobra up making his head. You know how they've spread out their, whatever that is? Hood, yeah, hood. And the Rai Bular said, oh my God, he must be dead. The snake has bitten him, or the snake's going to bite him. I must hurry. And he galloped his horse over towards where the boy was, and the snake kind of pulled back and went down, and Guru Nanak sat up, kind of said, what is it? And he realized that the snake was keeping this hot sun off of Guru Nanak. He had used his hood like an umbrella because the shade of the tree had moved with the sun, and so the snake had come and covered him. And so Rai Bular, that really was the thing that made him understand this boy is special. And all the rest of his life, Rai Bular loved Nanak. And
That's good to stay still.
yeah, but what do you think happened when his father heard about the grass and the corn and the snake and all those things? What do you think his father did? He didn't understand, did he?
He thought that he would do.
Yeah, he said, I can't let him do that anymore. Something terrible's going to happen. Yeah, he said, what is going on here? I can't let him take the cows out anymore. Can't do that. So he says, I've got to think of something different for him to do. And I don't know if we have time for another part of what he did, or we should do it tomorrow night. Let's see. So yeah. So tomorrow we'll tell more stories about Guru Nanak when he was a little boy and as he grew up, and his adventures. He had wonderful adventures.
I like that one.
Yeah, we've got all the pictures. See, there he is with his two friends, and they were his friends when he was a little boy too. Bala and Mardana. They were his friends.
They were his. Why aren't they?
No,
Why did they have to sing that Guru Nanak?
Because, well, we all have an aura, right? We all have it. But Guru Nanak's was extra shiny, and that's why we show it in the pictures. You have your halo, your arc line. We all do, but it's kind of hard for us to see one another's. But Nanak's was so bright. That's why we show it in our pictures, paintings. We always show
When he
that.
was young, he used to fight.
I know. Yeah. So, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.